That episode though, this Seven Deadly Sins episode, yo, the amount of shit that went down, the amount of content we got, and the amount of epicness, progression, like fucking suspense building, like just so much shit went down in this episode, and it was hype as a motherfucker. I was like, King, like, the anime King is trying to make me like go from a Bond to a King dude. I don't know if I can do that though, because it's like Bond is my dude, but what King was doing in this episode, Seven Deadly Sins, people. The seven fucking deadly sins. So at the beginning of this episode, we only got a glimpse of Meliodas versus Diane. I mean, Diane, even in that small state, still could fuck shit up. Like, she was still giving him the work. So we know that at the end of the day, while Meliodas is the leader, and he probably realistically could kick all of their asses in one way or another, ultimately, Diane ain't no pushover neither. Even in that small, shrunken state, she was still, giving them the work. So props to Diane, and that just showcases again how strong she is. I mean, you even see waves of air being pushed as she's punching. That's how much force she has behind these blows. Now, if you notice one thing, it's almost as if the Sins at this particular point have accepted in a way that they're wanted criminals, and they used it to their advantage. So very strategic in that aspect, because they're like, we're gonna take over this town if you don't get out now. So even though, ironically, the Holy Knights are supposed to be the defenders, these good people, the Holy Knights, the irony of that shit, they're the ones attacking, and the Sins, it all makes sense anyway at the end of the day. I'm sure that's why it was planned like that perfectly. The Holy Knights, but they're fucked up people, and the Sins, but they're pretty much the heroes because they saved everyone in that town. So the irony of that, and just seeing how strategic they are, that they use that to their advantage. It's like, alright, well, we're the villains, okay, well, we're gonna use that to our advantage to save these people, you assholes. And now Jericho came back with a vengeance. I was like, this entire episode, the impact of it, like, people love to say, oh yeah, Seven Deadly Sins is like fairy tale, and it has that atmosphere in the beginning especially, where it's like, oh man, this adventure, this world kind of feels a little magical. But episodes like this, it's like, you're not gonna see shit like this where you got Bond getting stabbed, blood coming out of his mouth, and it's like, my wound ain't healing. Motherfuckers is beating the shit out of him. Then you got Meliodas getting his ass kicked by Gira, and it's somebody else. Normally, like, if it's a shonen, especially again like fairy tale that people love to compare it would be Meliodas or Natsu that would get up and, save the day or whatever. But both of them were getting their asses handed to them by two people that aren't even like top tier. And King is the one that was fucking owning. It was like, the anime version of King is like, he's starting to creep up to Bond. I love Bond, bro. Bond's backstory is so deep and just really emotional, and he's such a badass and everything. And you gotta keep in mind at the same time, Bond and Meliodas ain't using their weapons, neither is Diane, so King definitely has leaps and bounds of help as far as, having his weapon with him. But ultimately, like, he was just giving them the works. These two by themselves was taking out Meliodas and Bond, and King by himself took both of them out. So that speaks volumes about King with his treasure. Poor Diane, seeing her fall down that alley. Although, if you notice, Elizabeth was already growing back to her normal size. So probably when she fell down, that might have happened at the same time. Because it was literally right after you see her fall down, you see Elizabeth shrink back up. And you could just see that there's even corruption amongst the corrupted. Like, I think Veronica didn't understand the depth of how fucked up these people are. Because she's there with Griamore thinking like, yeah, we came with a mission. And she didn't even realize that they're there with a whole different mission entirely, and they basically try to double cross her. And it was like, just the amount of setups that these characters were doing, like, these are some strategic motherfuckers, like the bombs that Guila set up. And I mean, my gosh, this episode, and it's like, again, people love to say the fairy tale thing. You're not gonna see what happened to Veronica in fairy tale. I know I keep bringing that shit up, whatever, but that's just prime examples. And also, like, I feel like lately Seven Deadly Sins have been coming under attack, in particular the anime as well, and it's like, who the fuck cares if it's going, yeah, critically speaking, this episode, if it had a flaw, it was definitely that it was way too fast-paced. They're breezing through the content, so I will say that. But as far as, like, just the way they're presenting it, because bad adaptation or improper adaptation, not 100% faithful adaptation, doesn't equal bad anime. Like, this episode was just fucking crazy with so many things. Veronica's fucking death is like, she came to save her sister and ultimately sacrificed herself getting fucked up with those bombs. Is like, come on, bro. How you gonna deny that? And then a huge setup and foreshadowing as well. We already had little inklings of it earlier on when that little mark appeared on Meliodas' head and he went fucking wild. And then in this episode again, when he breaks out, is like, just so much in this is like, so that was a charm that locks away anything demonic. And it locked away Meliodas. Like, foreshadowing much. And if you notice, that's also going to connect to Bond, because if you look at Bond's past, if you remember, he hated this demon for what he did. This demon fucked up basically this relationship that he had built with Elaine. So to kind of see that, it's like, wait a minute, is he connected to that motherfucker? So definitely going to make the relationship between Bond and Meliodas a lot more interesting as well. And then another setup as well. I mean, this episode just did so many different things. The shit with, after King owned those people, the big bad dog showed up, Helbram, which I'm a manga reader, so, and I'm not going to spoil much, but Helbram. Look out for Helbram, bro. Look out for Helbram. And then you got even King getting fucked up, man. Like, how you gonna deny that this shit wasn't great? Regardless if it's going quick through the material, regardless if it reminds you of fairy tale, whatever, just come on. The heroes are all getting fucking destroyed. One of the only people that was actually doing something wasn't the main protagonist, Meliodas, but King. And then even he got fucked up. Like, come on, this episode, great fucking episode. Huge progression into a mini war already between the 7 Deadly Sins and the Holy Knights. Everyone is pretty much fucked up and down. And then you have this huge, basically bombshell at the end, cliffhanger, with Meliodas showing up and he's all with these black markings. And if you look at him, he kind of looks a little bit confused and lost. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen next week, but just absolutely great episode. Art and animation look gorgeous. The only flaw, which critically speaking I do have to present it, is that it is going very fast. It is very fast paced, which is too fast paced at some given point. So yeah, that's one of the things, but everything else, just like art and animation, look gorgeous. Some of the foreshadowing, the setups, we have some death in this episode, even a little comedy with Hawk trying to do shit like, I'll break it with my legs. Like, come on, Hawk, you a dope pig, I'm not gonna lie, you a gangsta ass pig, but you ain't breaking shit. And yeah, just amazing stuff. I'm giving this episode 9 out of 10. It was fast paced, and it's like, I wish it was a little bit slower, just so that we can take in more of the impact of what's going on. But I mean, for a shonen, I think it's doing a very fucking awesome job, and the ratings speak for itself. I think last week's episode came in top 10 anime of the entire fucking week, highest ratings. So that speaks volumes. Sins is doing something. Yeah, I know sales and numbers don't equate to quality, but with Sins, it's fucking doing it, alright? Let me know what you thought of this episode, though. What do you think about this whole thing with Meliodas? Do you think that he is a full-on fucking demon inside of him? I mean, we know, and realistically speaking, this is a shonen. He's not some ravaging beast, but it could be something like, you know, how Naruto had the nine-tailed fox inside of him, or something like that, where he just loses it, and it's inside of him, but inherently he still is a good person. And what do you think about Veronica's death, Gira and Jericho going in? How did you feel about King? If you were a Bond dude, did this episode kind of make you want to go and be a King dude? Like, I was tempted, I'm not gonna lie, but I still gotta show my faith to Bond. Bond, you still my bro, but King, you my bro too. And your overall thoughts, but that's all I have for this reaction / review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.